When Eilat Mazar realized she discovered an ancient structure near Jerusalem, she turned to the Bible to help explain what she found.
And she learned that this new discovery supports the biblical accounts of King David and his son Solomon.
The earth seemed to tremble as an enormous stone slab shifted for the first time in 5,000 years, exhaling the silence of the ancient world. What archaeologists uncovered wasn't merely a chamber glittering with gold. It was a message, one never meant to be revealed to future generations.
I was amazed. I kind of frozen. It was amazing, unexpected.
For centuries, many believed King Solomon's tomb was nothing more than legend, a tale passed down by storytellers. That belief shattered the instant a beam of light pierced the darkness and struck a solid gold menorah hidden deep beneath the city of David. This discovery isn't just remarkable. It may be the most important archaeological find ever made in the Middle East. Exploring the hidden kingdom, Solomon became king while he was still a teenager, stepping into the enormous legacy left by his father, King David. But he didn't just preserve what he inherited, he elevated it. Under his rule, the kingdom didn't simply survive. It flourished, becoming a powerful empire that people still talk about thousands of years later. Trade thrived during Solomon's reign. Wealth flowed into Jerusalem from distant lands that historians still debate today. Gold, precious goods, and rare treasures poured into the city, turning it into the beating heart of a vast and prosperous kingdom. At the center of it all, Solomon built the first temple, a breathtaking achievement that took 7 years to complete. Crafted with cedar imported from Lebanon and overlaid with shining gold panels, the structure reflected sunlight so brilliantly it could reportedly be seen from miles away. The stones were cut and placed with such precision that not even a thin blade could slip between them. An astonishing feat, especially considering the lack of modern tools. Yet Solomon's fame wasn't built on wealth alone. His wisdom became legendary. One of the most famous stories tells of two women who both claim to be the mother of the same baby. To reveal the truth, Solomon proposed dividing the child in two, knowing the real mother would rather give up her child than see it harmed. His strategy worked, and that moment cemented his reputation as a symbol of justice throughout the ancient world. His wisdom drew visitors from far beyond his borders. The Queen of Sheba traveled more than 1,000 miles, arriving with caravans loaded with spices, gold, and gifts. She came to test him with difficult questions and riddles, and left astonished. Solomon answered every challenge with insight that surpassed even the grandest rumors she had heard. Solomon's influence extended far beyond Jerusalem. His ships sailed to distant, mysterious places like Ophir, returning with ivory, rare woods, and exotic animals. His kingdom became a center of wealth, culture, and power, a golden age that continues to capture imaginations to this day. In the southern desert, in a place known as the Timnah Valley, Solomon controlled vast copper mines that became a major source of his kingdom's wealth. These mines stretched deep into the earth, and for that era, the scale of production was extraordinary. The amount of copper pulled from the ground was staggering, forming the economic backbone of his empire. Even today, archaeologists continue to uncover evidence showing just how large and organized those mining operations were. But despite all his power, prosperity, and the detailed records of his reign, one question refused to go away. Where was Solomon actually buried? There was no grand monument, no towering pyramid, no clear marker pointing to his final resting place. Some believed his tomb had to be hidden somewhere beneath the Temple Mount. Others were convinced it lay buried deep in the desert sands. Over time, many experts simply gave up. They began to assume the tomb was nothing more than legend. After all, if it had ever existed, invading armies would likely have looted it thousands of years ago. Jerusalem itself had been destroyed and rebuilt so many times that finding a single ancient tomb seemed nearly impossible. For centuries, the search went cold, and Solomon's burial place faded into little more than a ghost story. Then, a few years ago, everything changed. The mystery was reopened by someone who refused to accept that the trail had ended. This wasn't a lucky discovery or wild speculation. It was the result of decades spent studying overlooked clues and approaching the mystery from a completely different perspective. But there was a catch. What had long been dismissed as legend was about to feel very real and potentially very dangerous. A forgotten tunnel would change everything. For generations, searching for Solomon's tomb had been like chasing a shadow that slipped away whenever you got close. Medieval knights once dug beneath the city, convinced they would uncover chambers overflowing with gold. Centuries later, 19th century explorers tore through the hills of Judea with shovels and pickaxes, certain they were just inches away from the greatest discovery of their lives. Yet each time, the prize remained hidden, just out of reach. Every attempt to find the tomb had ended the same way, in failure. Over time, people began to accept that it was probably just a legend. By the time the 21st century arrived, most serious researchers had shifted their focus to other, more promising projects. That's when Dr. Emily Carter stepped in, and she wasn't chasing treasure. She was a specialist in ancient scrolls, the kind of scholar who spent long hours in quiet archives studying dusty records that most people would overlook. While examining tax documents believed to date back to Solomon's reign, she spotted something unusual. Payments were being directed to a location that was never officially named in royal records. The site appeared to be somewhere near the city of David, deliberately concealed, almost as if someone had gone out of their way to erase it from history. Curious, Dr. Carter assembled a team and brought in advanced ground-penetrating radar capable of scanning through up to 30 feet of solid rock. They began surveying a steep hillside in Silwan, an area known for its unstable limestone terrain. The conditions were harsh. The ground was fragile, the work slow, and the summer heat often climbed above 100 degrees. Equipment failed. Progress stalled. Still, they kept coming back. Then, everything changed. A powerful rainstorm swept through the area, drenching the hillside and triggering small mudslides. When the skies cleared, the team noticed something strange, a small opening in the ground that hadn't been there the day before. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than an animal burrow. But when they checked the radar data, their hearts raced. Beneath the surface lay something far more significant, a network of deep, carefully constructed tunnels. These weren't natural formations. They had been deliberately carved by human hands, thousands of years ago. The team stood frozen. This was the breakthrough they had spent their careers hoping for. They quickly secured the site, but as they began exploring further, the danger became clear. The tunnels were engineered with false entrances and hidden traps, designed to collapse and crush intruders. One wrong move could bring the ceiling down, burying both the team and whatever history lay hidden beneath tons of stone. At night, Dr. Carter studied the symbols carved near the entrance, trying to decode their meaning. They weren't decorative, they were warnings. Messages meant to keep outsiders away. Whoever designed this system had done so with precision and purpose. It was a defensive masterpiece, built by people determined to protect the king's secrets at all costs. And as the team ventured deeper underground, something else became impossible to ignore. The air itself felt different, heavy, almost electric, as though the past was still alive beneath the stone. The doorway to the ancient world. The team stood face to face with a massive stone slab buried so deep it felt as though the earth itself had tried to hide it forever. This wasn't just another rock in the tunnel. It was a sealed boundary, one that had remained closed for nearly 5,000 years. But moving it wouldn't be as simple as pushing it aside. The slab was part of an intricate locking system built into the narrow tunnels around it. One wrong move could trigger a collapse. The walls were unstable, and it was clear that whoever designed this entrance had left very specific instructions carved into the stone. The craftsmanship was ancient, but the strategy behind it was brilliant, carefully engineered to stop grave robbers before they ever reached the chamber beyond. Near the doorway, Dr. Carter noticed 7 lines of carved symbols. The number immediately stood out to her. 7 years had been recorded as the time it took to build Solomon's temple. This wasn't decoration, it was a coded message. Before they could move forward, they had to understand it. The team used precision laser tools to map every groove and marking in the stone, treating the entire structure as carefully as if it were an unexploded device. The air inside the tunnel was thick and heavy, filled with the scent of damp earth and ancient dust. They worked through the night, focused and cautious. For 3 straight days, they carefully adjusted the hidden mechanisms, pausing every time they heard even the slightest grinding sound. Each noise echoed through the tunnel like a warning. The mountain felt silent, almost watchful, as if testing whether they were worthy of entering. Then it happened. A sharp snap cut through the stillness, followed by a deep rumble that vibrated beneath their boots. Slowly, the slab began to move. Just enough. A thin, dark opening appeared, revealing a space no human had seen in thousands of years. The team instinctively stepped back, staring into the pitch-black gap. It felt almost alive, like it was breathing. No one spoke. The weight of the moment was overwhelming. They weren't just uncovering history, they were standing at the edge of it, about to step into a world frozen in time. And the darkness beyond wasn't empty. It felt as though it had been waiting. Whatever lay inside had the potential to change everything, and they were the ones holding the flashlights. But even then, the tomb had one final surprise waiting. A glimpse of Solomon's wealth. The instant a flashlight beam caught the faint glimmer of gold, time seemed to stop. They had entered a chamber untouched since the Age of Kings. It wasn't a looted ruin. It was preserved, almost impossibly so. Golden vessels lined the walls, each one engraved with ancient Hebrew letters that looked as though they had been polished only yesterday. The craftsmanship was extraordinary, delicate yet powerful, reflecting the light in soft, warm flashes. And the air inside the chamber was unexpected. It didn't carry the stale scent of a forgotten cave. Instead, it held the faint fragrance of thyme, spices, and sweet resins, as if the room had been sealed with intention, preserving not just treasures, but an atmosphere from another age. The team stood in silence, fully aware that they were witnessing something no one else had seen for millennia. At the back of the chamber, a 7-branched menorah rose directly from the floor. It was crafted from solid gold and looked exactly like the one described in the Bible. This wasn't a replica or symbolic version. It appeared to be the real thing, and it was breathtaking. Everywhere they turned, there were objects that told the story of an ancient global trade network. Fragments of fine silk, likely from India, lay preserved among the treasures. Intricate ivory carvings suggested connections deep into Africa. In the corners of the room, small decorative boxes held emeralds, rubies, and deep blue lapis lazuli stones that shimmered under the flashlight beams. One archaeologist quietly remarked that this single discovery made even the greatest museums in the world seem small by comparison. They also uncovered a sealed clay jar. When it was carefully opened, an unexpected scent drifted into the air. Saffron and frankincense, still fragrant after thousands of years. It was almost unsettling. The room didn't feel abandoned. It felt prepared, as if someone had arranged it to be discovered one day. But as the team examined the artifacts more closely, questions began to surface. Some of the symbols carved into the walls were unfamiliar, designs no one recognized from Solomon's era. A few artistic styles seemed to belong to a later period. Doubt slowly mixed with the excitement. Was this truly Solomon's tomb? Or could it have been a hidden treasury used by later kings? The team carefully documented everything. Using advanced 3D scanners, they captured every detail before physically touching a single object. One careless move could destroy history that had remained untouched for nearly 3,000 years. The menorah alone had the potential to rewrite what historians believed about the decoration of the First Temple. Yet no one celebrated. Not yet. Because one crucial piece was still missing. They had not found the king's body. The chamber felt more like an entrance hall or a ceremonial vault than a final resting place. The atmosphere suggested there was more, another layer hidden even deeper underground. They were certain now. The true secret of Solomon had not yet been revealed. The symbols carved into the far wall seemed to point downward, toward an even deeper, more inaccessible part of the mountain. It became clear that what they had uncovered so far was only the first layer of something far more complex. The gold, as stunning as it was, suddenly felt like a distraction. Yes, it was extraordinary. A glowing ocean of treasure that reflected their flashlight beams in waves of molten light. It was the kind of wealth that could shake modern economies and redefine what people thought they knew about ancient prosperity. But as the initial rush of discovery faded, something else began to take hold. The team felt a shift in the atmosphere. The excitement over treasure slowly gave way to a strange, uneasy sensation, as if the chamber itself were watching them. They stepped away from the piles of coins and statues, drawn instead to a cluster of carvings at the back of the cave. At first glance, the markings seemed still, but the longer they stared, the more unsettling they became. The grooves appeared to shimmer, almost as if they were vibrating. It wasn't a trick of the light. The stone seemed alive, as though it held a quiet, contained energy beneath its surface. At the center of the carvings was a sharp, six-pointed star-shaped seal, known in ancient texts as the Mark of Solomon. This wasn't just decoration or a royal emblem. According to legend, it was said to symbolize authority over unseen forces, a seal believed to command spirits, restrain demons, and protect the kingdom from powers beyond the natural world. Radiating outward from the seal were intricate geometric patterns, but they weren't simple artistic designs. Interwoven among them were dense mathematical sequences and symbols that seemed impossibly advanced for their time. These weren't scenes of battles or royal triumphs. They looked more like technical schematics. In fact, some of the patterns resembled modern scientific diagrams, blueprints you might expect to see in a physics lab, not etched into stone 3,000 years ago. The designs were so complex, they evoked comparisons to particle accelerator models or theoretical maps of multidimensional space. It was no longer just an archaeological discovery. It felt like they had uncovered knowledge that didn't belong to the timeline they thought they understood. One of the team members, a young mathematician named Elias, leaned closer to the carvings and noticed something astonishing. The numerical ratios embedded in the patterns closely matched the Fibonacci sequence and even reflected prime number distributions, mathematical concepts that, according to modern history, weren't formally identified until centuries later. That discovery sparked a wave of bold theories among the group. What if Solomon wasn't just a wise ruler, but the keeper of knowledge far older than his own civilization? Some began to wonder whether he had inherited advanced understanding from a forgotten culture that existed long before the Hebrews. The idea sounded extreme, but standing in that chamber, surrounded by impossible geometry, it didn't feel so far-fetched. Another theory quickly followed. What if the temple itself had been more than a place of worship? What if it had functioned as some kind of ancient device, a massive resonating structure designed to interact with the Earth's magnetic field? The vast amounts of gold used in its construction could have served as a conductor, channeling energy from a source they still couldn't explain. If that were true, then Solomon's brilliance went far beyond wise rulings and clever judgments. He may have been a master of mathematics, architecture, and possibly even principles of physics that humanity wouldn't rediscover for millennia. As the team processed these ideas, they continued searching the chamber. In one quiet corner, away from the glittering gold and ornate treasures, they found something equally compelling, a carefully arranged stack of clay tablets. Most of them appeared ordinary. They contained administrative records, shipments of cedar wood from Lebanon, detailed weights of spices from Sheba, and other typical documents of a well-organized kingdom. But one tablet stood apart from the rest. Its writing didn't follow any known pattern of ancient Semitic language. The structure wasn't linear. Instead of flowing from start to finish, the symbols curved and intertwined, looping back on themselves in a recursive pattern. It resembled something far more modern, like the double helix of DNA or the layered logic of a complex artificial intelligence algorithm. It wasn't just writing. It looked like encoded knowledge far ahead of its time. The tablet didn't read like a simple record. It felt like a riddle, something designed for a future generation, one capable of thinking beyond straight lines and simple explanations. The symbols suggested the existence of a key connected to hidden knowledge and a power that could transform the world, maybe even alter humanity's understanding of gravity and time itself. Dr. Carter felt a chill while studying it. For centuries, historians had dismissed the so-called Key of Solomon as myth, a legend embraced by occultists and dreamers, not serious scholars. But what if it wasn't a mystical spellbook at all? What if it was something far more grounded? A mathematical formula, a coded system for unlocking knowledge that had been sealed away? If it truly described a method for opening a doorway to another reality, the implications were staggering and deeply unsettling. The mood in the chamber shifted again when a team member noticed something hidden in a shadowed recess of the wall. It was nearly invisible without direct high-intensity light. Tucked away was a small chest, about the size of a suitcase, and surprisingly heavy. It was sealed with metal latches bearing the same six-pointed star symbol they had seen throughout the chamber. But the material wasn't gold. It was a dull grey alloy, smooth and strangely flawless. After what appeared to be 3,000 years, it showed no corrosion, no cracks, not even the slightest sign of decay. There were no visible locks, no hinges, no seams. It didn't look assembled. It looked as though it had been formed from a single solid piece of material, somehow folded into shape. The excitement in the room faded instantly, replaced by a heavy sense of caution. No one rushed forward. No one even reached out. The object seemed to radiate a faint warmth, subtle but noticeable, as if something inside it was still active. The idea was unsettling, a source of energy that had endured for 3 millennia. In the quiet of the tomb, theories began to grow wilder. Was it some kind of ancient containment device, a technological artifact from a civilization long forgotten? Or something symbolic, perhaps what ancient texts described as the breath of God, a mysterious force said to empower Solomon's reign? Opening it suddenly felt like more than an archaeological decision. It felt like crossing a line, breaking an agreement made thousands of years ago between a king and whatever had granted him his legendary wisdom. As the team debated what to do, their conversation drifted toward one of the most famous legends about Solomon. The story that he commanded 72 spirits said to be sealed inside a brass vessel and bound to serve him. In light of the advanced carvings and mathematical tablets they had already seen, the legend took on a new tone. What if those spirits weren't supernatural beings at all? What if they were misunderstood descriptions of biological constructs, or even mechanical entities, relics of a lost technological age that Solomon had discovered and learned to control? If the chest contained some kind of control mechanism, an interface for such power, then the person who opened it wouldn't simply be an archaeologist uncovering history. They would be activating it. If they opened that chest, if it truly contained what they feared it might, the person standing closest wouldn't just make history. They could become the most powerful individual on Earth. The pull was undeniable. It felt almost magnetic, tugging at their curiosity and pushing past their logical fears. Was this where Solomon had hidden his true source of power? Was it some kind of final safeguard? A device meant to be opened only when humanity reached a certain level of knowledge? Or was it simply another brilliantly designed trap created to ensure that no intruder ever made it back to the surface? Just as they were debating whether to risk scanning the chest with a portable X-ray device, someone noticed something strange in the far corner of the chamber. Carved into a stone pillar at shoulder height was a symbol that clearly did not belong to the 10th century BCE. It looked newer, sharper than the ancient markings around it. The design resembled a compass and square, but its edges had an oddly digital pixel-like quality. It felt completely out of place and out of time. That discovery changed everything. It suggested that someone else had entered this tomb long after Solomon, possibly even in recent years. Suddenly, this wasn't just an archaeological breakthrough. It felt like a crime scene or a secret meeting place. The team realized they might be stepping into a mystery that was still unfolding. Was this site being monitored by modern secret societies? Had others already uncovered parts of its secrets? Some even whispered half-joking, half-serious ideas about time travelers, watchers ensuring that Solomon's legacy unfolded exactly as it was meant to. They were no longer just studying the past. They were confronting something that might still be influencing the present. As they explored deeper, one truth became impossible to ignore. The tons of gold surrounding them were insignificant compared to the knowledge hidden within the chamber. The treasure felt like bait, something dazzling enough to distract the world, while the truly powerful secrets remained concealed in shadow. Among the graduate students, theories spread quickly. Some suggested the six-pointed star wasn't just a royal emblem at all, but a star map, possibly pointing toward a precise coordinate in the Orion Nebula. In that theory, the chest wasn't a container. It was a beacon. And what if Solomon hadn't truly died? What if he had used the key described on the tablet, stepping outside of time itself, leaving this tomb behind as a test for whatever civilization would one day follow? The air in the chamber grew thinner. Oxygen sensors on their equipment began to beep softly, warning them. Still, no one moved toward the exit. The chest sat quietly, emitting the faintest hum, almost imperceptible, as if waiting, watching. If they carried it back to the surface, they wouldn't just be presenting the world with an artifact. They might be handing humanity a power it didn't understand and couldn't control. And now we're left with the real question. Is the modern world truly ready to know what's inside that final chest? Or was the key never meant for those who value gold more than truth, more than whatever lies beyond the stars? If Solomon's tomb has guarded its secrets for thousands of years, should we be the generation to unlock them? Or are some kinds of knowledge simply too dangerous? Let me know what you think. And if you're fascinated by mysteries like this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that challenge everything we think we know.